Let's bring Jimmy Hyams in here. We had a little bit of trouble connecting, but we love visiting with Jimmy. His appearance brought to you by our friends at Varner Ford. And there he is. Look at him. Jimmy Hyams joins us now. Jimmy, I'm going to put you in the middle. I think it looks better that way. How are you, sir?
Dave, I'm doing great. Caleb, how you doing?
Pretty good. He actually did ask me how I'm doing today, Jimmy, for the
good.
first time in a while.
But I didn't.
Make sure I fill in the blank.
But I didn't mean it.
Oh,
I didn't care at all. All right, no, I do. I love Caleb. He's a lifesaver. All right, Jimmy, your impressions of the game last night. Expectations were sky high, undefeated #1 team in the nation. You go to Florida, where you think it's the middle of the pack sort of team, and good gravy, that went off the rails quick.
Yeah, I actually thought Florida would beat Tennessee, and I don't know if you said Florida's the middle of the road team in the league. I don't think they are. I think they're really good.
They're not.
Yeah, they're ranked in the top 10. They lost to Kentucky 106-100. But I got to tell you this: somewhere Kevin O'Neill's smiling because he looked at that offense and said, "That's what I ran: pass, pass, miss, pass, pass, miss. And if you score 43 points, that should be good enough to win." So I'm sure Kevin O'Neill out there is giggling somewhere. It was stunning how bad Tennessee played. You trailed 12-0. You never got in the game. You were horrific from the 3-point line. You really never I didn't think they ever really made a run in the second half. And what was odd about that, I don't know the exact numbers. I think Florida's 3 guards, their main starting guards, scored about 75 or 80 points against Kentucky. They scored 32 against Tennessee, and they still blew Tennessee out. And I thought the key for Tennessee would be containing Florida's guards, and they really did a pretty good job of that, of the starters. But I don't know that I've ever seen a Rick Barnes team be that inept on offense. And Caleb, I heard what you said about Jemai Mashack. He has become a liability on offense. Nobody guards him. Nobody respects him. He drives to the basket, and he doesn't look to even shoot most of the time. He kicks it out. He has got to start developing an offensive game, or I don't care how good he is on defense. I think it's going to be tough to give him 25 minutes a game.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Caleb. Go ahead.
Yeah, talking Florida 73-43 win over Tennessee Tuesday night, Tennessee's first loss of the year. After setting a score record for 5 straight weeks at #1, Jimmy. I think what really stood out to me, and I'm with you. I actually thought Florida would win last night. I don't think anybody would have had an issue with Florida beating Tennessee in Gainesville, given how good they are. That wouldn't have really concerned anybody about a national title. But to lose this way, I think a lot of Tennessee fans thought after last year that what I call the Rick Barnes offensive special would never return, which is, for those who don't know, Rick Barnes is good once every 7 or 8 games of a poor shooting night, and then his team finding no other ways possible to score when they can't hit from 3. And how concerning is it that reared its ugly head again in a game?
Well, it's kind of hard to me. I want to say it's very concerning, and yet if I step back a little bit, I see a team that was undefeated and had some really nice wins and was ranked #1 in the country. So is this Ohio State versus Michigan? Is this Alabama at Oklahoma? Just a game where you just played awful. Now, Tennessee's a lot better than what they played against Florida, no question about that. But the thing is, when you look at the vulnerability, when you look at how poorly they shot, it makes you wonder, is that going to be in their future again? What's the next game going to look like? Now, they're going to play a lot better in the next game. But years ago, when they had Grant Williams, if they had trouble shooting from 3, they could throw it into Grant Williams, he gets you a basket. And even many times last year when they struggled to score, they just say, all right, everybody get out of the way. Take it over, Dalton Connect. And he did. Well, Lanier has been an excellent player for Tennessee so far, but he was terrible shooting, and he can't take it to the basket like Connect.
Nope.
He tries to sometimes, but he does not have the height or the elevation that Connect gave you, and he's not as good a finisher around the rim. So I do wonder about, are we going to see some more games like this from Tennessee where they shoot poorly? And now, not to score 43 points, but to me, if you score less than 60, you got an issue. And I think there may be some more games like that in Tennessee's future.
Jimmy, There will be a lot of people that are listening to this program or watching this program right now that are not going to like what I have to say. Tennessee missed Jonas Edu last night. If they would have had an offensive player in the post, they could dump it down to, I'm a firm believer going back to the Kevin McHale days, that if your outside shot isn't hitting, you have to have something to go to. Last year, it was Connect taking it to the rack. This year, I think Rick Barnes was thinking it would be dump it down to Jonas, and obviously that didn't happen because he transferred to Arkansas. Am I onto something there, or what do you think?
Well, I'll say this: they didn't miss they do when Tennessee played Arkansas.
They did not.
That's true, but But Jimmy, I will say this: I feel like maybe we overreacted a little bit because he got dominated by Zach Edey. I mean, that's a 2-time NCAA Player of the Year.
Well, I think there was an overreaction because of his lack of effort too. I thought he checked out of that game. He didn't play but 12 minutes. I may be wrong about the minutes. He didn't play a lot, and he got out physical, and it looked like he kind of quit. He shied away, and that's when they went to Estrella, who was much more physical, and against Edey. Now, could Edu have helped him with some inside scoring last night? He probably could have. But he certainly wasn't going to make up 30 points. So, I mean, if they'd had Edu, would they have lost by 30? Maybe not. Would they have lost by 24? Probably. So I don't think he would have made a significant difference in Tennessee's game last night.
Okay, I'm gonna play devil's advocate for just a second.
Okay.
I think when you're in basketball, which is such a momentum game,
Mm-hmm.
I think that once things start to go awry, that sometimes you just need a bucket to calm things down. So yes, maybe he only scores 12 points if he's playing last night, but those could have been clutch points to stop Florida's incredible run.
They could have been, but he's not enough of a difference maker to say that would have mattered against Florida. Okay, so that's where I come down on that. Now, offensively, I could he have helped him? Yes. I like a lot of things about Akpora, but the one thing offensively about the only thing he gives you is a pick and roll dunk. He is not going to show you much offensive skills other than that. He's not going to post somebody up and hit a hook shot or do something like that. So he can get a rebound dunk or an alley-oop off a pick and roll. So they are a little bit limited some with their inside scoring, in my opinion. And would they do help with that some? Yes, he would. But again, it wouldn't have made a difference last night. Now, the thing about and this goes for most teams, especially really good teams. At some point, aren't you, at least I was, aren't you thinking, okay, at some point, Tennessee's going to make a run against Florida, right? They got to. They can't play that bad in the second half after going, 0 for 14 on threes in the first half, and they never did it. And I thought, boy, what a pathetic performance that was. And you could tell Rick Barnes, he was like, okay.
Let's just go home.
Yeah, that's right. This thing's gotten away. Let's go home. They had no chance, and they never really made that run. I don't want to say they quit. I can't say that there wasn't some effort. I did see some hustle out there, but my goodness, their offensive performance was it's got to be the worst under Rick Barnes. Y'all may have some numbers to support that or argue that, but I think it's the worst offensive performance under Rick Barnes that I've seen.
I want to ask both of you. I want to play game show host here for a second, if that's okay. So I have two questions for both of you, and I want to get your take on this. What was the worst effort, Jonas Edu last year against Purdue and Zach Edey, or the Vols last night? Caleb, you go first.
Jonas Edu last year against Purdue and Zach Edey. Tennessee shot well enough to hang in that game. They did everything they did everything you could have asked for to beat Purdue. And no one asked Jonas Edu to win that battle with Zach Edey. But he wilted because the thing you keep missing, Dave, when you say you get 12 points, he's mentally weak. He's mentally weak. He's not the guy that's going to change the flow of the game, because if the game is going a certain way, as Jimmy said, he's going to check out. That's what happened. That's what he does.
Okay, Jimmy, what do you think?
No, I think it's Edu because I thought he quit.
Okay.
And I didn't necessarily think Tennessee quit. I just think they played poorly, and I do think there's a difference. I didn't see Ziegler loafing. I saw some dumb plays. And by the way, as much as I like Ziegler, about 2 or 3 times a game, he's going to do something that just plain dumb. He's going to dribble into a crowd of people and have a turnover. He's going to throw an alley-oop that hits the backboard. He just, and then he'll make a lot of really good plays. But he needs to, I mean, some of these are like, he shouldn't be doing this for a veteran, a senior, and all SEC player. He needs to clean it up a little bit and not dribble himself into trouble, which he seems to do multiple times in every game.
Okay.
Jimmy, I've told Dave that he's the Jawan Jennings of Tennessee basketball.
Caleb loves Jawan Jennings like I love mashed potatoes.
Dave thinks Jawan Jennings should have been kicked off the team for that Instagram story. Jimmy, you're on my side, right?
No, I thought he should have been kicked off the team.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What is it? You two?
Yeah.
You guys.
I did.
Y'all are crazy.
All right.
Well, he quit. Hey, he quit the team twice.
Yeah.
Not once, twice.
But he's the
The
hardest working
second
player
time
I
he
ever saw on
quit
the
is
field.
when I'd have said, "You're out of here."